Morning everyone. I ordered this a couple of months ago. This is the new Jaguar F-Pace SVR and it just came in. Came off the boat on March 8th, got to the dealership on March 13th, and I was able to pick it up that night. And I'm gonna make this quick video because when I was waiting for the car to arrive, I noticed that there was a few YouTube videos that showed some of the testing that Jaguar had done, and of course the commercial that they made, but there wasn't a lot of videos on the actual vehicle, the one that they were going to release for street production. So I just kind of walk around and show some of the things that I noticed were a little bit different, and things that I like, some customizations. You can order them exactly the way you want them and that kind of stuff. Right up in here at the hood, about these scoops. Also, the hood is carbon fiber. It's not metal like the rest of the panels are. It comes with the 22-inch rims. It's got a little air evacuation here on the side. And the thing that I thought was pretty neat, they didn't talk about this in any of the promo videos, but if you look right down here, under here, in there, and then of course on that side, behind each one of those is a separate intercooler. I don't know if it's for the transmission, supercharger, and of course the engine, but there's 4 separate radiator intercoolers at work here, hence the need. I really believe the need for these exhaust vents. I don't think it's just for looks. I really think they absolutely needed them, and that's why they did it. And then of course here, these on the side as well. Another thing that I think was added after the fact is if you look down here, there's like this little running board. I don't remember ever seeing that on any of the promo videos, and I thought that's a nice little addition. And then another thing that I noticed was these back panels seem to be flared a little more. It makes it look a little more beefy, a little fatter. And then of course you've got these little reflectors down in here, and there's another one back here for the backup lights. The pipes, they talk a lot about the exhaust pipes and the sound. I agree. It's probably the #1 feature of the vehicle. With the Ford engine. I went ahead and I'm going to show you real quick about those pipes. Say hello to Romeo. That's my dog. But if you look, there's a little button right here, and whether you're in dynamic or sport mode or not, you can hit that little button, and that'll actually open up the valves on the pipes and make it sound even better. So I had the first edition F-Pace prior to this. It was silver, and I went with like the I forget what they call it, moon dust or whatever interior. It's just a light gray oyster type material. And on this one, my fiance actually got a Lexus, and she had this color combination where she's got the Yulong white on the outside and then this really nice canvas tan color on the inside. And so I took a risk and went with it, and I really like it. I think it makes it look even more sporty. The seats are totally different than the standard F-Pace seats. They've got the SVR logo in the headrest. They're real thin. It actually provides, in my opinion, a little extra room in the back because of it. I still haven't hooked up my camera for the front dash just yet, but the seats are, of course, this quilted pattern, and the back has heat, and the front seats actually have heat and air conditioning. They're all controlled through the dash. There is a hotkey for it right up in here. You can actually hit that seat button right there, and that'll immediately bring you right to the menu screen. But here in Florida, we use the cool a lot more than we use the heat. Something else that I thought was pretty cool on the gear shifter. People are so used to putting your vehicle into park, and they've got the park button right up top here that you can hit and of course put it in park. But if you also just, whatever gear it happens to be in, reverse drive, doesn't matter, if you hit the stop button, this will automatically go to park. It's not a 2-step start stop. And the other thing I noticed is there's a trigger on the back here, and you have to pull that trigger in order to, for instance, go to drive, or pull the trigger in to go to reverse, and then neutral is just 1 notch. And you can feel it. It's got 2 steps in it, depending on which you're going to do. Now, On the old, or the regular F-Paces, we of course have the dial, right? And the dial is park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then all the way to the right would be sport. This one's a little different. In order to go into sport, you just throw it to the side this way. I can't do it right now because the vehicle's not on, but you go to the side, and then you can use the Triptronic transmission to go down, 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 up, 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 and then of course you still have the paddle shifters right here. Depending on which way you want to use them, they're interchangeable. There's a setting that lets you use these either only in sport mode or in drive or sport. I tend to like it in drive or sport. If you know, I'm not really getting on it, I'm just kind of running around town or whatever, I'm just traveling, I'm not going to run around in sport. But there are times where I want to downshift and not necessarily hit my brakes, like when the radar detector goes off and you don't know if he's behind you or in front of you, so you just kind of hit the downshift a couple times just to bring your speed down without actually hitting the brakes. And I like to have that option. There's some differences in the instrument cluster, and before I get into that, let's go ahead and just turn this on real quick so you can get a sense of what this sound is like, because that's really what's nice. And then we'll watch the boot up here on the front screen as well. Obviously you can hear that nice rumble. The instrument cluster has a number of different options. You can see I have currently one dial in the center. It has the RPM on the outside, speed in the middle. It obviously recognizes this. One that I had was 45 miles per hour. Down here on the bottom is, so down here is the gas gauge, and this would be full all the way over here. You can see I got about 3/4 of a tank remaining, and then the red on the end is it looks like we're out, but or running out. Now the neat thing about this is when this thing gets warmed up and I get ready to go, let me go ahead and close the door. What it'll do is it'll turn on one dial, it'll turn the right side to a map view, and then on the left side, I have this set right now to driver assistance. So it'll do lane keep, it'll do adaptive cruise control, it'll do collision awareness and whatnot. You have the option to either shake the steering wheel, or if it's in cruise control, it'll shake if you're about to run over your lines, and it will also keep the vehicle in the lanes. I find that it's a lot more responsive than the original F-Pace. The 2017 first edition that I have, that tend to bounce. I mean, it looked like you were drunk. You would go from one side to the next of the lanes. This really does a great job keeping it in the center of the lane. It's almost like it's not even noticeable anymore. You can of course have two clusters if you want. You can have two dials, one either side, and then the center becomes the info system. You can change this side out or the center, depending on how you have your arrangement, with driver assistance, which is what you have now, media, which is whatever you're listening to, and then they have driver information like miles per gallon and average speed and trip information and so forth. I kind of like this cluster. I think it's pretty cool. And when you put it into dynamic mode, which I just did, it turns everything red. For those of you who've used this before, you know that's how it does it. And then also, if your front lights are on, it'll turn the ambient lighting to red as well. Just to show you what it could look like without it, I'm going to go ahead and take it out of dynamic mode, and you'll see that the ambient lighting turns to whatever you have it set to. So we'll go ahead and give you an idea of what the settings are. These are all the colors that you have options to look at. I also kind of like this yellow. I think it's kind of cool. It's like a bright yellow look. You know, you got some blues to choose from, a purple. The white looks pretty good. Then there's this off-white, which I like to leave it in. And then if I wanted to match more of the interior, I've got these two oranges to choose from, and then of course the red. So pretty responsive. You can change the illumination levels. So if you're at night and it's really dark, this might get a little distracting. You can turn down the illumination levels by using these, or turn them off altogether. The other thing that's pretty cool about this is you can customize your home screen. So this would be a standard home screen. We've got additional functions here. This one comes with Apple CarPlay. I know that's and Android Auto. I know those are big features that were missing in the last infotainment system. But what I've done is I've set up my own page. So all of the stuff that I like and I use frequently, I'll go ahead and I'll put here. I've got some contacts that I call frequently, my fiance, my son, and then my contact list. I've got Apple Play for my phone. I've got 2 XM satellite radio stations set up here, and then I've got dynamic mode, I've got audio adjustment, and then ambient lighting, nav system on this side, media on this side. So it's pretty neat how you can customize these, and you can add additional screens. So all you have to do is you just hold this down. You'll eventually get into customization mode. You can move things around. I can click this, add a new page, and then there's all kinds of options of things that you can choose to add in there. I mean, there's clocks, all the different functionality throughout pretty much is available for your customization. And some of them have different sizes. Like if you don't necessarily want, you know, one of the larger sizes, then you can just go with standard. This is kind of the instrument cluster, and you can change the background as well. That's all available in this settings menu. There's a ton of options in the settings menu because you just have these basic settings, and then you can get into all settings, and it really gets detailed into all of the things. For instance, features, you can go through each one by one right here in one menu. But more later.